When I was a kid, we used to go shopping with my mom on weekends. Very often she would intentionally take us around lunchtime and we would do what she called a tasting lunch. We'd walk around Kroger, that's the Cincinnati Publix, and we would take samples throughout the store. My sister and I would eat our fill on crackers and cheese, mini sausages, and pizza rolls. We thought it was fun, and it was a unique way to eat food my mother would never buy. We later learned that those were difficult financial times for my parents. My dad was trying to start a business, and we were not impoverished, but saving money was incredibly important to them at the time. So a chance to feed us for free was welcomed. One of the rules of the challenge was don't feed the rabbi. I was not allowed to accept food as gifts, nor was I allowed to seek out free food like a tasting lunch. I'm sure there are food stamp recipients who work in restaurants, grocery stores, and other parts of the food service industry. I know from experience that people in restaurants take food home. They're given free meals, and they might even pick at leftovers. I vividly remember a skinny old man named Charles who washed dishes at a place I worked in Cincinnati called Watson Brothers. One of the managers found out that Charles was eating food off of plates that we gave him. So a crackdown began. All servers had to scrape plates before giving them to the dishwashers. Now, the service staff knew that Charles was poor. He had 6 kids at home, and his wife wasn't working so that she could take care of them. He was on food stamps, and he told us that he would often go without so that his children could eat. Now, we didn't agree with the manager's decision to not allow Charles to eat for free, so we modified the new rule. Whenever we had to bring back an untouched meal, either because it was returned or cold or we brought the wrong thing out, we would pass the untouched plate to Charles. Over the course of a shift, he would probably eat 5 or 6 complete meals. And chances are, he only ate when he was standing in that dish station. It makes a difference when it's someone we know instead of a statistic. To say there are 16.2 million children living in poverty gets a sigh and a mumbled apology to nobody. But to say, I'm hungry, elicits a slew of culinary offerings. That's why the servers of Watson Brothers collectively, instinctively bucked the system to make sure that Charles could be fed. We knew there was something we could do, and we did it. It didn't harm anyone. It didn't take any money away from the restaurant. It just stopped a plate on its way to the garbage. And it helped a man be able to eat so he could spend his money feeding his children. Going back to the food stamp challenge, by the 4th day, I started to notice physical changes. I was having difficulty at the gym. My heart rate was low, and I couldn't lift my normal amount of weights by 25%. It was more than a noticeable fact. It was disheartening, depressing even. By the time I couldn't push weights up on 2 of the machines I was used to, I stopped. I went into the showers, and I cried. I felt a need to get nutrients and protein into my body. I wasn't hungry anymore, but I was craving things. When I was first shopping for the food stamp challenge, my thoughts were along the lines of, how much food can I get for less money? By the middle of the week, my focus was, what's the healthiest thing I can buy for $2? I had trouble getting focused. This was the time I was supposed to be hardcore into sermon writing, but I couldn't concentrate. I was tired. I went to bed earlier than usual. I snapped at my family. I felt miserable. The last day of the challenge was September 13th, my birthday. Typically, on a staff member's birthday here at Temple Sinai, the person is called in for a meeting, which is a greeting of cake and cards and singing. for my last week, people were saying things like, "You really can't have cake? Even if we eat it with you?" So this year, knowing I was not able to partake in cake, several staffers came into my office holding a fruit basket and a candle. They knew I couldn't eat the fruit then and there, but they hoped that I would eat it over the next few days, as soon as I could start eating what I wanted again. We took a picture of me holding a candle stuck into nothing, and another of me holding the fruit basket. It was incredibly thoughtful, fun, and supportive to know that I work at a place where they would still want to celebrate my birthday with me and offer as much as they thought I could handle. I know it takes away from their joy as well, because they surely like to have a little cake when it's someone else's birthday, but they had to forego it because of the food stamp challenge, even though they weren't the ones participating. This is one of those unanticipated side effects of the challenge. People love to give each other food. Whether it's watching a loved one enjoy a dish you've cooked or celebrating birthdays with coworkers, we use food to express our joy. It makes me realize how lucky we are to have such things provided for us and to be able to provide in return. My last 2 hours of the food stamp challenge taught me another lesson. I knew when my time on a tight food budget was going to end. I could count down and get excited about the midnight snack I had waiting for me in my refrigerator. It was a salad. People on welfare and using food stamps cannot do that. They can't count down to the point where everything's going to be okay. They have to work hard, have faith, and hope that any day might be the day when they get off of food stamps. They don't know when they will get the job that will get at them out of their financial situation. They don't know when they will be able to make helpful choices in the supermarket because they'll have more than $31.50. Now that I know that I can do this challenge, I will be doing it again. The food stamp challenge is offered both the week before Rosh Hashanah and the week before Thanksgiving. So this November, I will again be living on $31.50 for 1 week. But this time, I don't want to do it alone. I would ask that you all join me. Whether you do it as a family or individuals, can you spend $31.50 on food for 1 week? As I mentioned earlier, the average family of 4 in America spends around $950 for 1 month's worth of groceries, or $60 per person per week. This does not include dining out or snacks in vending machines or morning stops at Starbucks. And it is already twice what the average food stamp recipient gets per week. This is why I'm inviting every individual, every couple, and every family from Temple Sinai to join me in the Food Stamp Challenge this November. The week of November 11th to 17th, the week before Thanksgiving, is the next National Food Stamp Challenge. If you and your family are willing, join me in raising awareness about America's hungry and see what a mile feels like in their shoes. You can sign up to join this challenge by emailing me, rabbi.young@tsnd.org, or by signing a petition that we'll have in the main office. By signing up for this challenge, you are pledging to do 2 things. First, you'll spend no more than $31.50 on food per person for the week. This is food and beverage. It's not easy. I'm here to tell you I'll support you if you want recipe ideas, shopping tips, or money-saving options. The rules are simple. Spend a total of $31.50 on food and beverages during the challenge week. All food purchased and eaten, including fast food and dining out, must be included in the total spending. During the challenge, eat only food you purchase for the project. Do not eat food you already have at home, with the exception of spices and condiments. Avoid accepting free food from friends and family or at work, including food at receptions or coffee in the office. Keep track of all your receipts on food and try to note your experiences throughout the week by journaling or something of the kind. The other thing I would ask you to do is donate the remainder of your weekly food bill to help Americans on food stamps get out of their situation. If you spend $31.50 on yourself, consider sending the same amount or more to those in need. You can choose your hunger relief organization, Mazon, the Kosher Food Bank, Jewish Community Services, or any other organization about which you are passionate. You can also write a check to my discretionary fund, and on November 18th, I will send a check to the Jewish Council for Public Affairs Confronting Poverty Campaign, which are the organizers of the Food Stamp Challenge. Not everyone can participate. People with special food requirements might not be able to handle such a low-cost diet. If you cannot take the Food Stamp Challenge, please consider donating anyways. If you can, I promise you will feel different by the end of the week. If you cannot give and you cannot participate, then advocate. Write letters to your government representatives asking them to start subsidizing fresh vegetables as much as or more than meat and corn. Ask for tax credits for poor families who shop at farmers markets and buy local produce. We need to make it easier to be healthier. As families, try to go on a fast food fast. Can you go a week without eating at a fast food restaurant? How about a month? Let's use November, especially the week of the 11th, as a way to make a concerted group effort to make helpful choices with our food. November 16th, the Friday night of the next Food Stamp Challenge, happens to be a religious school Shabbat dinner here at Temple Sinai. So I have an offer for all of you who plan to participate. Together, let's make a cheap, $1.50 per person, healthy meal that night. I bet if we pool our resources, we can come up with something delicious and good for us. This is the fast God asks of us, to share our bread with the hungry and bring the poor into our homes. The Food Stamp Challenge gives us the opportunity to share our bread with the hungry and to bring understanding of the plight of the poor into our homes. I hope you will all join me the week of November 11th, and I pray that you will help other Americans end their struggle with hunger.